How can a pastor stand behind a pulpit, preach about God, and still take advantage of people in need? My name is Agnes, and this is my story. My husband was diagnosed with a serious illness last year. The doctors told us he needed urgent treatment, warning that without the procedure, his condition could deteriorate quickly. I braced myself as I asked the inevitable question: how much would it cost? When the doctor said $10,000 just to get started, my heart sank. $10,000. 10,000. It might not sound like much to some people, but to us, it felt like a mountain we couldn't climb. We didn't have it. We had already drained our savings on tests and medications. Insurance covered only part of the treatment. Family helped as much as they could, but they couldn't raise that kind of money. We didn't know what else to do. And that's why we went to the church. We had been members of that church for years. We served faithfully. We volunteered. We paid tithes. The church always preached that we were one body, that when one member suffers, everyone suffers. So asking for help didn't feel wrong. It felt like turning to family. We scheduled a meeting with the pastor. He listened, nodded sympathetically, held my husband's hand and said, "Don't worry, the church will support you, that God will provide." That Sunday, he preached about faith, about compassion, about standing together as a body of Christ. In the middle of the sermon, he called my husband to the front. The entire congregation watched as my husband slowly walked up, weak but hopeful. He laid hands on him and prayed loudly. Then he turned to the congregation and said, "Our brother here needs $10,000 for a life-saving treatment. I'm asking everyone to give what they can today." People were touched, and they began to pledge. Some rushed forward with cash. They gave generously. Some gave hundreds of dollars. Some gave thousands. Others wrote checks, while others made large transfers on the spot. The atmosphere was emotional and overwhelming. I truly believed God had answered our prayers through the generosity of these kind-hearted people, and we were very grateful. I was in tears just watching the love in that room. People hugged us. They said, "Don't worry about anything. Focus on healing." By the end of the Sunday service, Pastor announced that the total amount raised was $961,000. Nearly $1 million. He asked us to come into his office. He closed the door behind us and sat down calmly. He handed us an envelope. Inside the envelope was a check for $10,000. I stared at it, confused. I asked, "What about the rest?" He folded his hands and said that God has answered our prayers, that what is in the envelope is $10,000, and it's what we requested. He said the remaining funds belong to the church. I was so disappointed. My husband was too weak to argue. I faced the pastor, with tears in my eyes. I said, "People weren't just giving money for surgery. They also gave to help us hold our lives together while we recover. Because they understood that recovery costs more than treatment, and it doesn't end when you leave the hospital. We may not be able to work for months." But he sighed, shook his head gently, and said, "The church has many needs, and there are other people who may also need financial assistance." He insisted that we received what you requested, and that the rest is considered as offering to the ministry. We walked out of that office with exactly $10,000. The people who donated probably still believe every dollar went toward saving my husband's life. That's the part that hurts the most. For weeks, I couldn't sleep. I replayed that Sunday over and over in my head. It felt like we had been used as a fundraising tool. My husband went through treatment. The $10,000 covered the initial hospital bill, but not everything that followed. We still struggled, and every Sunday when I sat in that church, I couldn't look at the pastor the same way again. I kept asking myself, how can someone preach compassion and then withhold it? How can a shepherd see suffering and think the excess belongs to the church? Ever since that day, we've been stuck with questions we can't seem to answer. Should we stand up during Sunday service and confront him in front of everyone? Should we reach out to the members who donated and tell them what really happened? Or should we swallow the hurt, accept the $10,000, and try to move on? We honestly don't know what the right answer is anymore. We're tired. We want peace, but we also want justice. We need real, honest advice. If you were in our situation, what would you do?